Hello, this is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com, bringing you another edition of Dragons in Modern. This week's episode is a mono red version, looking to make a bunch of treasure tokens and turn them into 4/4 flying hasty scorpion dragons with Magda, the Hoardmaster. We tried her in a Gruul deck. She was pretty awesome. We never actually got to use her, unfortunately, but she drew out a couple kill spells. The treasure token plan's fun. She gives us a whole nother angle of attack for the late game. Don't think she's best in the early game, so I'm probably not going to run her out here. Our second line of attack is Terror of the Peaks, as we draw it right on time. Thank you, Terror. With Stingerback Terror, we're going to hopefully plot. I think we're going to run out Urza Saga. We're going to look into plot the Stingerback Terror, and then once we stick a Terror of the Peaks, cast a Stingerback Terror for free. Hopefully, hopefully without very many cards in our hand at that point, so that we can do 6 or 7 points of damage per Stingerback Terror with Terror of the Peaks triggers. And then our third angle of attack is the Urza Saga plan. Synergizes well with our tokens. With our treasure tokens that we're looking to make. Grows our constructs if we're not using them to ramp. We might run out. We'll see what they. Ooh, Ragavan. Okay, that's good. We have something to cast this Stomp on. Looks like they held up mana though. Maybe they have a Spell Pierce or whatever. Looks like they have an answer. Spell Snare. Counter target spell with mana value 2. Okay, that lined up well for them. Most people aren't playing Stomp. Oh, we drew another one. That's going to slow down our making of the Constructs plan, though. Which is a win for our opponent. Name Dragon with the Urza Saga. So what we can do is try to make a Construct to chump block this Ragavan and hope it doesn't die. They're going to probably kill it, though, and get a hit in. So I think we're going to just have to eschew our plan, unfortunately. Stomp the Ragavan. That's sad for us, especially because we're not making a land drop here. We did draw the Stomp, which is good, but we're going to lose a land after this turn, put us back a little bit in time, which is really unfortunate. And they're going to dash in a Ragavan. Alright, well, you know, we've had these types of games where we've gotten lots of Ragavan hits, and they're probably going to land off the top. At the very least, we can float the mana, play the Bone Crusher Giant, see what they steal from us. Hey, Mountain. We could have used that Mountain opponent. That would have been nice for us. If we do draw land, we can play the Atsushi. See how good it is against our opponent's strategy. Looks like they're playing some kind of... Is it? Is it colors now? Green has been being splattered. Mountain. Or just another Urza Saga. Do we want to make a Construct? We don't have this. Well, we can cast that Sushi. Make the Construct. We're really all in on that Construct plan. Oh well. Let's see. Construct or mana? I feel like we're just going to have to float the mana, cast the dragon. We're already behind our Construct plan. They have Fatal Push mana up, which they can use to kill our Atsushi, is true, but we at least get some value out of that with the treasure tokens, and then we might be able to see this Magda do something for a change. At least we hit the land. That was good. So if we had made the construct, if we didn't have to kill the Ragavan and made the construct, we might be in a different position right now. But seeing as we were already down one construct, they have 4 cards in hand, and one of which is a Ragavan. Do they have the Fatal Push? Is it really not an Izzet deck? It is, looks like. Temur, is it? if you will, Temur Murktide. So yeah, we're hoping that this Ragavan can't get through that Sushi without us blocking them, bolting it, and then we get to replace it with some treasure tokens to help our mana issues. There's the dashed Ragavan. That's fine. We could take another hit. Doesn't look like they have the answer. So if we take another hit, we can equip, double equip, and just start swinging in for 6 a turn. They have the one, let's see, creature. I mean, I think we're going to take a hit and just roll the dice. See what they steal this time. And add Sushi. Do they have the mana to cast it? They do. Good for them. So that was a big win for our opponent. That was probably their best hit off of our deck, to be honest. That's why you don't want to take Ragavan hits, I suppose. And we really could have used that land. Alright, well that plan failed pretty epically. Now they have the Ragavan the dash. They have 3 cards, other cards in hand we don't know about. We make a construct that's pretty big, which is probably our best line right now. We could go ahead and give it +1/+1 and trample and lifelink to get through this Atsushi. And then they get a bunch of treasure tokens or cards, which is not good for us. I think, as sad as this makes us, we're going to hold down the fort and just not lose our construct options here. It would have been the Striker Rich is good. A land would have been better. This way we can make the construct. It will be a 3/3 into a 4/4. We don't have anything more else to search up, unfortunately. See if they found an answer for our Atsushi. If they do kill it, we get the treasure tokens. We can make some giant constructs. So we kind of want them to attack right now. And we might take another Ragavan hit, as sad as that is. Maybe we wait, block the Ragavan, take the 4. Here comes Ragavan. Alright, well we already learned our lesson once, right? They got to steal one of our best cards. We'll go ahead and make the construct. They're going to bolt it. Do they have another bolt? So we sniffed that out at least. They did have the bolt, or they probably have another one, or Unholy Heat or something. We didn't want. All right, it's looking better for us now. They don't have a follow-up, but if we don't draw a mountain, we're gonna be sad, and it's a Fable. So we can either equip for lifelink. We're gonna have to get this construct. Remember, the land is really hurting us. We don't have anything to fetch up anymore. We only play the 2. Land would have made all the difference in this. We could have gotten in for 5 or 8. and put our opponent on a 2-turn clock. Right now, we're missing our land. Couldn't, I mean, even, yeah, there's so many things we could be doing with these lands, but we don't have them. Oh, anyway, this is a fun game. Being a little bit mana screwed isn't fun. Our opponent, I don't know what they have going on. Expecting a Murktide at some point, but alright, expressive iteration. They've been leveraging their Ragavan for pretty much the entire portion up until now. Letting them, you know, play their things or hold on to their most important cards. Got to play Atsushi off of our deck. Okay, they bolt the construct. I mean, we're going to win the race if we can equip. Because it looks like, please get let's just have a land. A land would be really nice. Okay, so we can go for, I mean, we're just going to go for the equip at this point. Lifelink, 5/5. They're going to get some things off of their Atsushi, unfortunately. But it does put them closer to dead. Man, we just cannot find a land, though. Playing 22. We did get rid of 2. That's the danger of playing Urza Saga. Unholy Heats. And then it dies. Do we want to go for lands or treasure tokens? What's the likelihood of us finding lands in the top 2 cards of our library? Oh man. Alright, we're going to do the treasure tokens. This does set us up next turn. I mean, we're down to 12. Our opponent has 2 cards in hand. Going up to 3. We can, next turn, play Magda and make a Scorpion token and swing in if our opponent decides they want to attack, which I assume they will. I mean, we have 5 lands. I don't know what they know about that Sushi and the Bone Crusher. They haven't seen anything else. So they just looked at what we're drawing. Getting in. So this might be Magda's time to shine. We will see. This could be it. A land off the top puts them to 2. A land off the top puts them dead if they don't have anything to follow up. With 2 cards in hand, it could be counterspell. We can't cast Magda without it getting countered, unfortunately. Unless we draw a Cavern, that would be nice. There's the big Murktide. That's unfortunate for us. There goes our best laid plans. We really needed to get some hits in with that Shadow Spear. I feel like this one kind of got away with us when they were able to Spell Snare or Stomp on the Ragavan. And then we made a decision to not block the Ragavan. And they got an Atsushi that has now gone the distance. So we finally got our land. We can play a Magda. Then we can, if it doesn't get countered, we could also suit up this Bone Crusher Giant to gain a bit of life back. Give it trample, haste, 6 damage. It's not enough to kill that Murktide, unfortunately. I think whatever we do is probably going to get countered, to be honest. Alright, well, let's see what happens. They still have 4 card types in the graveyard, so... And this is not... I mean, this is going to get us to 14. Yeah, I mean this is a losing strategy. So the game turned on two plays this game, I would say. Here comes the unholy heat, I imagine. Or no, not. All right. The game turned on that. Well, it wasn't a mistake, right? We tried to kill the Ragavan. They had the answer. We drew another answer. We had to take a turn off of making constructs to kill the Ragavan. Now we're in a position to just essentially gain some life back and drawing almost dead to whatever it is that they have going on. They're going to hit us for 11. So I'm not sure what our answers are. Anyway, so that was, and then, that's just the opponent had an answer. But the decision we made to not block the Ragavan with the Atsushi, but then instead to take a hit, gave them our Atsushi, which has been doing a lot of work for them. We would have lost our Atsushi, and I think that with Magda in our hand, we should have just gone ahead and traded, but I was hoping to get in Shadow Spear and or Lava Spur boot hits with it to gain back some life and to put pressure on our opponent. It just did not work out that way because I think the turn we were going to do that, we made a construct. So there was a couple decision points there that I think made all the difference in this game. I think the mistake of not blocking Ragavan snowballed from there. We would have had more mana with the treasure tokens and or whatever we got off the top if we decided to exile. The good news is our opponent has not seen the main portion of our game plan, except they know we play dragons. Alright, so mistakes were made. Let's go to game 2. Try not to do that one again. Alright, so I changed my sideboard a little bit. I have Mage, Bane, Lizards as hate for this type of matchup. And then relics are good to bring in against the graveyard, and it's always just a replacement card. Fables can be good going long. We saw the game went long that time. They could have been good in that spot. Draws out some kill spells. Strike it rich, nice for ramp. Ragavan, if we can get some early hits. I mean, we have a lot of good cards against this deck, so I think what we do, maybe we just trim a little bit to make room. They got a Fable. They got a Magda. Take out one, strike it rich. Okay, Mage, Bane, Lizard. See if you're as good as I was hoping when I saw you as tech against some of these strategies looking to cast a lot of non-creature spells in a single turn. We got the Lava Spur Boots again, of all things. But we do have a turn 1 Ragavan, 2 lands, not ideal. But we have we have graveyard hate. We have things to do. Force our opponent's hand here. See if they will have some answer, I'm sure. Next turn, though, if for some reason they decide they've kept a very strange hand, we might get a hit in with a 3-1 Ragavan. Probably not going to happen. Let's be real. If we draw another Ragavan, though, also wouldn't have. We could dash it in just like they did against us. There's the Unholy Heat. Sure, they passed the Ragavan test. Have them exile a card. Start that process. Lava Spur Boots in our opening hand for 2 games in a row. Yeah, I think we just played ourselves out of that last game with our decisions. I'm not saying the decisions were... That's the thing about Magic, right? They weren't obvious wrong decisions. Maybe they are to some people. Maybe you always block Ragavan and just never take a Ragavan hit for what we just saw happen. The risk reward is too high, but I'm not as convinced, having taken lots of Ragavan hits playing these janky decks. It's more often that they might take a lightning bolt out of here from the top than find one of your finishers. It has happened, but that happens a lot rarer. It was a greedy line, I think, that especially maybe the lack of foresight, thinking, well, we want to make a construct. Maybe we should have not made the construct and just gone all in on our life gain attack plan type of thing. All right, wow, deck, what are you doing to me? What are you doing? Max punished over here. Let's play our Shadow Spear, because those are the 2 cards we like to search over there as a saga. Our luck has changed for the worse. Yeah, I think the mistake was not not formulating the plan in my mind that we were going to make the construct no matter what. Because if we were going to make the construct no matter what, 99 Sushi Die gives us 3 treasure tokens, which grows the construct. So yeah, a lot of, in that regard, I do think, because then I could have attached the equipment to the construct. So yeah, that was the play that the game turned on, and it was a mistake. It's called taking the suboptimal line versus a punt, I would say, which is all it takes in Magic. Do we find a land? A land would be good for this Fable, assuming we can resolve it. This is the first match we played where the mana issues have come up. We're only playing 22 lands. It's possible we want to go down a land for something like take out one of our Magdas or one of our Atsushis to get another land, put another land, go up to 23. The thing I ran into with Boros, Gideon Tribal, Sarkin, Dragons and Modern deck that you can read about and watch the gameplay on cyclesgaming.com was with the Urza Saga lands. They're great and super powerful, but if they don't win you the game and you don't make your land drops after, you end up going down a land and you're even more mana screwed. Like, I don't think I ever hit 5 mana in a game that I played Urza Saga in all my games I played with that deck. Expressive. Oh, Brotherhood. Brotherhood's in. That's one of my cards, man. That's a great card. Just so happens to get both of our value artifacts. That's cool. That's cool. We didn't want to do anything with those guys anyway. See, this would have been a nice... where's our Magebane Lizard? Another land would make us happy. We will get a treasure token, assuming we get to attack with this Goblin Shaman. At which point we can at least get that Sushi down. If we get a land and the treasure token, then we can play Terror of the Peaks. And that would be nice. Discard. We will definitely discard. We will discard one Atsushi and a Strike It Rich. What did we draw? Oh, deck. Why? Why? Okay, go to combat. Definitely getting unlucky on the lands. 22 lands is enough to see lands in the top few draw. We drew 1 land, so that's something. But seriously, deck. Alright, they take it. What do we want to do? That Sushi or the Magebane Lizard? They have 3 card types, which means they probably are going to have Unholy Heat. But let's go ahead and play that Sushi. Terror of the Peaks would have been nice there. But, you know, drawing lands. It's 2 games in a row. We're struggling. And then I'll add the 23rd land and we'll flood like whoa. But at least we have ways to get rid of, like Fable the Mirror Breaker. Ah, here comes the Magebane Lizard's time to shine. Atsushi is just too much value. 4/4 flying trampler. These guys can't block, so they have to attack. We can put them on a 2-turn clock if they end up swinging in for us for 6. We could block and not make the same mistake as last time and just hope we go bigger than they do. They stick a Murktide, we're going to be unhappy. So I guess is it Murktide has become Temur Murktide, splashing for what, like Veil of Summer, something else, some other green card that I've seen before. Just gives it a little bit of flexibility. I guess then there's no drawback in there. Pick your poison. It would be one of those. Each opponent sacrifices what, a creature with flying or an enchantment. What should we do? Treasure tokens or exile? We're gonna exile. I mean, we have so many things to cast. We want to hit a land. We have land removal. Okay, Cavern is not bad. That's a land at least. They still don't have Delirium somehow, which is kind of hilarious. Field of Ruin. Can only play a single land though. So we name Dragon. Is this the time we want to get the Fable down or the Magebane Lizard? They're reading it and don't know what to do. Trying to decide if it's worth countering. Alright, let's see if this Fable resolves now. If they have the spells now, we're going to take one. Sequencing, folks. Sequencing. Well, let's just say we did that on purpose. Right? Yeah, we took one, but we wanted to see what kind of answer they had. They didn't have a counterspell. Wanted to see if they would use a lightning bolt on this goblin. They didn't. Yep. I guess we can just F6, right? Speed this up. Now they're going to have Delirium. Are they going after the Magebane Lizard? No, of course the token. Kiki-jiki. Swinging in for 6. We have an uncounterable Terror of the Peaks coming down, though. Do they have a big Murktide? They might. Yep. And so this is it playing at its best. Just managing the board, putting threats down, and then following it up with a big fatty. We will use... So if we... Do we want to... I mean, oh man, I'm just trying to think. We can do 2 to the face. I think we're actually going to discard the Field of Ruin. I don't know what... I'm not sure the line here. They're going to block to go to 6. Yep. We can put them to 4, or we can play a Terror of the Peaks. At which point, I think we're still dead. Yeah, we did this all wrong. I mean, we didn't have the treasure tokens, to be fair. We had to attack before we had the treasure tokens. But I'm just thinking, we have the 3 treasure tokens now that we could sack to make the 4/4. But then they're at 4, right? But we just... what's happening here is we didn't have the tokens until after combat, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So the sequencing there isn't wrong, it's just not going to get us out of this game. So now they're going to swing in for a whole bunch, and we're dead. Well, for Cycles Gaming, this is Johnny Cycles. Definitely some interesting lines there, some ins and outs. Could have played, I think we could have taken definitely in game 1 better lines. That one felt like it was got away from us quickly with this big Murktide at the end. I mean, we missed land drops too. But very interesting deck, very grindy deck. Really fun. I mean, I feel like it has game against these big decks, but we missed a few land drops there. Our opponent kind of got some value out of that Brotherhood's in. But it's really that follow-up Murktide that won them the game. We were winning the race. We had a nice board state. They were able to kill our Kiki-Jiki and turn on Delirium and then stick a Murktide with one of their last 2 cards in hand. So, I mean, opponent kind of had it all. In game 2, we didn't do so bad with the 2 fables. Found our lands. We were able to execute our game plan to a certain extent, and had a chance there. But when Izzet, or now Temur Murktide, hits on all cylinders, there's not a lot of room for error. And even when you play a perfect game, it often isn't good enough when you're playing something like this. I love this deck though. It's super fun. A lot of angles, lots of ins and outs, as they say. Game 1 got away from us. Definitely took the wrong line though, so we're going to learn. That's why we're getting the reps in the practice matches. Learning the better lines, the better plays. Thinking it through a little bit more, seeing the future better, as they say as well. But all right, well, that's a little mini wrap up for this match. Fun match, tough loss, but you live and you learn, you get better. So for Cycles Gaming, this is Johnny Cycles. I'll catch y'all on the next one.
This is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com, and this has been another edition of Dragons and Modern. Be sure to go to my site and check out all of my original Magic the Gathering content, where I post articles and video of my janky modern brews in my commander decks. I'm also publishing a couple chapters every month for my science fiction fantasy novel called The Pod Kind. Check me out on YouTube as well. Click that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll catch you on the next one.